Good evening. It is day 20 of the Christmas story. Also, the greatest love story ever told in the Good News Bible translation. Tonight, they were asking a lot of questions to Jesus, trying to trap him in different things. To see how this pans out, how he answers these questions. There's a lot of questions here. So, let's dive right into it here. This is Luke chapter 20. On the Christmas story, the 20th day of the Christmas story. The question about Jesus' authority. One day, when Jesus was in temple teaching the people and preaching the good news, the chief priests and the teachers of the law, together with the elders, came and said to him, "Tell us, what right do you have to do these things? Who gave you such right?" Jesus answered them, "Now let me ask you a question. Tell me, did John's right to baptize come from God or from human beings?" They started to argue among themselves. "What shall we say? If we say from God, he will say, 'Why then did you not believe John?' But if we say from human beings, this whole crowd here will stone us because they are convinced that John was a prophet." So they answered, "We don't know where it came from." And Jesus said to them, "Neither will I tell you then by what right I do these things." The parable of the tenants in the vineyard. Then Jesus told the people this parable. There was once a man who planted a vineyard, rented it out to tenants, and then left him for a long time. When the time came to gather the grapes, he sent a slave to the tenants to receive from them his share of the harvest. But the tenants beat the slave and sent him back without a thing. So he sent another slave, but the tenants beat him also, treated him shamefully, and sent him back without a thing. Then he sent a third slave. The tenants wounded him too and threw him out. Then the owner of the vineyard said, "What shall I do? I will spend my own dear son. Surely they will respect him." But when the tenants saw him, they said to one another, "This is the owner's son. Let's kill him, and his property will be ours." So they threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. What then will the owner of the vineyard do to the tenants? Jesus asked. "He will come and kill those men and turn the vineyard over to the other tenants." When the people heard this, they said, "Surely not." Jesus looked at them and asked, "What then does the scripture mean? The stone which the builders rejected as worthless turned out to be the most important of all. Everyone who falls on that stone will be cut to pieces, and if that stone falls on someone, that person will be crushed to dust." The question about paying taxes. The teachers of the law and the chief priests turned to arrest Jesus on the spot, but they knew that he had told the parable against them, but they were afraid of the people, so they looked for an opportunity. They bribed some men to pretend they were sincere, and they sent him to trap Jesus with questions, so that they could hand him over to the authority and the power of the Roman governor. These spies said to Jesus, "Teacher, we know that what you say and teach is right. We know that you pay no attention to anyone's status, but teach the truth about God's will for people. Tell us, is it against our law for us to pay taxes to the Roman emperor or not?" But Jesus saw through their trick and said to them, "Show me a silver coin whose face and name are these on it." The emperors, they answered. So Jesus said, "Well then, pay to the emperor what belongs to the emperor, and pay to God what belongs to God." There, before the people, they could not catch him in a thing, so they kept quiet, amazed at his answer. The question about rising from the dead. Then some Sadducees, who say that people will not rise from death, came to Jesus and said, Teacher, Moses wrote this law for us. If a man dies and leaves a wife but no children, that man's brother must carry the widow so that they can have children, who will be considered the dead man's children. Once they were 7 brothers, the oldest got married and died without having children. Then the second one married the woman, and the third. The same thing happened to all 7. They died without having children. Last of all, the woman died. Now on the day when the dead rise to life, whose wife will she be? All 7 of them have married her. Jesus answered them, the men and the women of this age marry, but the men and women who are worthy to rise from death and live in the age to come will not then marry. They will be like angels and cannot die. They are children of God because they have risen from the dead. And Moses clearly proves that the dead arise to life in the passage about burning bush. He speaks of the Lord as the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. He is the God of the living, not of the dead. For to him are all alive. Some of the teachers of the law spoke, a good answer, teacher, for they did not dare ask him any more questions. The question about the Messiah. Jesus asked them, how can it be said that the Messiah will be the descendant of David? For David himself says in the book of Psalms, the Lord said to my Lord, sit here at my right side until I put your enemies as a footstool under your feet. David called him Lord. How then can the Messiah of David's descendant? Jesus warns against the teachers of the law. As all the people listened to him, Jesus said to his disciples, be on your guard against the teachers of the law, who like to walk around in their long robes and love to be greeted with respect in the marketplace, who chose the reserved seats in the synagogues and the best places at feasts, who take advantage of widows and rob them of their homes, and then make a show of saying long prayers. Their punishment will be all the worse. Take notice, it said they'll make a show of saying long prayers. A lot of people, preachers, will say long prayers that aren't supposed to be in the public. You're only supposed to. Jesus said short prayers, but more often prayers. And the prayers that you do in public or in synagogues or in street corners is the Lord's Prayer, or prayers or that are like the Lord's Prayer. Not prayers that you will have like in your house privately with the door closed. These are prayers that are between you and God, and only between you and God. This is the word of the Lord. When it comes to the question about rising from the dead, do you believe that was talking about when we die and we go to heaven? That's what I do believe that was talking about there. That's all I got for tonight. It's a short chapter tonight, but we're almost getting there. This is getting in. This is going to start to get really, really interesting here soon. Really interesting. I just want to show you this beautiful Bible of mine. I got this neat map. See this map? I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty neat. Got, if you can see it, Solomon's Temple right down in the middle. And the dark walls are the original walls when Jesus walked the earth. And the faded ones of now time. Of what it looks like now. Alright, have a good night. Love you, and you can comment, subscribe, or share.